Okay, everybody, I am so excited today because I am joined by Edi Patterson, aka Judy Gemstone from the Righteous Gemstones, which comes out this Sunday on HBO and HBO Max. How you doing today, Edie?
Doing great. How are you doing, Steve?
I'm doing good. I got, even just going into this interview, Misbehaving is still in my head. Um, I need to know
Got
what the
you.
prep was like for you. Yeah, right. What was the prep like doing Misbehaving? Was that intense?
Oh, to perform it or to write it?
Both.
Well, hang on, I'm having bangs trouble. Here we go.
Do your thing.
Wow. um, the writing of it was hilariously fast, like shockingly fast. Because we knew this was going to be a thing, and it was in a few scripts, and we were like, okay, Amy Lee and Baby Billy's famous hit is called Misbehavin. We didn't know what the song was or what it was about. We just had decided that was the name of it. And then one day Danny was like, I think it's sort of like Mama told me not to. I did it anyway. And I was like, oh, dude, I understand now. I know what you're doing. And so then I wrote a verse and maybe like a bridge and wrote some stuff about we thought we was just messing around until we met that man in a thorny crown. I wrote the weird thing about putting on lipstick and shaving and
Right.
all that. And so we had about like maybe a verse and a half and a chorus, maybe a little bridge. And I just sang it into Danny's phone. We weirdly kind of knew what the melody would be. And then we sent it to Joey Stevens, who's the composer on the show. And he heard it and was like, oh, right. And wrote like two verses and added music. And yeah, we had a version of it the next day and then never changed it because it just seemed to like come into the world right.
Yeah,
But it,
it's perfect. And there's something just that sucks in your brain, like it won't leave your brain. Like I've watched the
yep,
show a while ago when it first came out. It's still with me, which is it's
yep.
amazing. So also one of my favorite scene of you in season one was the scene where Judy is pushing the shopping cart into the car. What went into filming that day? Like, what exactly is happening during that?
Well, so lot lot going on that day. We well, first of all, I didn't know that that type of car is basically made. This is a side note, but that type of car is basically made of a really hard plastic. And I had in my head, I was like, ooh, this is going to feel so satisfying to just crunch this car. And I really thought a shopping cart would like sort of go in and embed and make a dent. I don't know. I had this cartoon idea of like what it meant to smash up a car. And basically, a shopping cart just bounces off of a car like that. And so you have to come at it sideways to try to do damage. And so it was all these things of figuring out like, how do we make a mark on this thing?
Yeah, I love
Yeah,
that. And yeah, it's just hysterical watching. And that's what I love about the character of Judy and how you portray her is that like I never know what's gonna happen any scene she's in.
good.
And I love the little lines you throw in. And I want to ask you lines that are like one of my favorite lines she actually says, it's random, but in season one, when she's in her dad's office, she slams the door and says goodnight in broad daylight. Little things like that make me like laugh my ass off. So I'm wondering though, are
It's
lines
true.
like that for you? Yeah. Are those mostly improvised by you, or are you kind of putting in the script before?
There, there is a fair amount of improv, but that was for sure written. I remember writing that. I
Okay.
just remember thinking like, um, that it'd be fun if she's so flustered she says goodnight, and then Kelvin tries to own her for saying that.
Yeah, no, that was great. And speaking of that, with the sibling dynamic in the show, how much comfort do you have to have as an actress with Danny and Adam to sell this sibling relationship in a show like this?
Oh, dude, I think the comfort level has to be off the charts, and I
Hmm.
can't believe how lucky we were to just like have that from the jump. Um, yeah, I it's yeah, it's magic. I don't
Yeah.
I don't even understand how it happened, but I feel absolutely comfortable with both of them. And yeah, and I think they do with me too. We're very like uh comfortable in every way, physically and feel like we can say anything to each other, and it's really, really fun.
Yeah, and it shows on screen. And speaking of like magic relationships, really also is BJ and Judy. So what exactly is it about BJ that Judy like can't get enough of? Why does she go for BJ?
I think she goes for BJ because he is sweet. I think she is fascinated by the fact that he is sweet and sees her. I don't think there's a ton of people in her life who understand that when she acts like a wild animal, that she isn't necessarily coming for them. I think BJ knows like to not always get his feelings hurt by her. And I think
Yeah.
that's not a normal human trait that people would know that with Judy.
I love that. So the traits with Judy too, and she is this complicated character. Is there anything you can find in her that you can relate to, that you kind of see yourself in?
Oh yeah. I mean, I love Judy. I think she is doing her damn best. And is trying really hard. She just happens to, have there's no thing inside that goes like, okay, take a deep breath, think this through.
Yeah.
She's just always set to pop. And I think everything about Judy is inside of me, but I just try to turn it up for her and let it rip.
Right.
Things
like
that I would maybe have enough human decency or even ego or consideration to go, okay, slow it down. You may be feeling this right now. Slow it down for a second. Try to hear their side of it. I think the fun thing about Judy is it's all just human stuff, but there's no voice of reason. It's just like,
Sure.
It's going to come out.
Yeah, 100%. And I have to ask too, and I feel like people watching this are going to think is, I was expecting to see like the luscious curls here. So your hair looks great, nice and straight.
Thanks.
But what goes into like, was that always going to be, she's going to have curly hair? Like when you're making this character, is that such an important character choice?
That was a really important character choice to me. I just really, I talked to Danny really early on about it. And I was like, I feel like her hair is so curly. And I feel like it's, because really curly hair, and especially like that length of curly hair, moves in a different way. And there's, depending on the person who's wearing the hair, there can be like just a hint of, if there's a hint of awkwardness in the person, the hair does like an extra thing and adds to it. And the way she felt in my body felt just like a little bit awkward and off. And I was like, I think I just need that hair to enhance that feeling I'm having. And it really makes me happy. The second my hair is like that, I feel like I instantly am her. I understand her immediately when my hair is like that.
Oh, that's amazing. That's just awesome to hear. And it's awesome just talking to you. And everybody be excited. Righteous Gemstones is back this Sunday. The first 2 episodes will be on HBO and HBO Max. You can watch Edi Patterson crush it as Judy per usual. Edi, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope to see you again in the future.
Oh, thanks, Steve. That was really fun.